Hi there, Chris here from Fitter Every Day. Today's edition is titled Fixing the Power Clean. As a bit of background, the athlete in the video today has been doing CrossFit for about 6 months. Prior to that, he'd done some strength training through rugby union and general Globo gym type stuff. He's about 95 kilos, about 5'10". Came into us pretty strong. 200 kilo deadlift, 160, 170 back squat, but with basically zero Olympic lifting experience. I thought it might be interesting to use an athlete like Ben today because he is quite strong, and he's certainly able to muscle through just about anything that we would program in our gym, and it can be a little bit more challenging to convey the importance of good technique and efficiency to a guy who is strong enough to muscle through those weights. And it's also interesting to maintain that stimulation factor. Getting a guy like this and stripping him back down to 20 kilos is not going to stimulate him. So we've got to find that happy medium between him walking out the door each day feeling like he got his training while improving his movement at the same time. In this initial footage that you're seeing here, we had Ben work up to a 1 rep max power clean, basically just so we could go through some of the faults that we'll see within him as well, and they're really common faults. So we'll go through those now, and then we'll go through the processes and the steps that we took to try and fix some of those faults. First up, if we look at Ben's setup position, generally I just think it's a bit compressed. He's a big guy and he's basically struggling just to get everything to fit inside his grip there. So the first thing I'd do is have him widen that grip up a little bit. He's going to get a bit more comfortable in the setup, as well as going to shorten that bar path up into that rack position. His feet are unevenly balanced. You can see his right foot's turned out there. And he also has the tendency to sort of rush his setup and that first pull. Next up, we're covering the first pull, or from the ground to the knees. And what you'll hopefully notice here is that Ben's hips are moving quicker than the bar. He's also got an extremely early arm pull happening there. So these mistakes are leading him to be in a position where he's unable to apply the power of his hips efficiently to the bar. And this is going to create a snowball effect of mistakes that will carry on throughout the rest of the lift. Moving on from the knees and right through up into the catch or the receiving position, what we want to look at here is once again we've got that early arm pull. So you can see those elbows are bent before we get to extension. So this is a problem in that it's basically cancelling out the power of the legs. I think Ben could work to be more aggressive at getting more complete extension. And we could also look at keeping that bar in closer, thinking about that high and outside position with the elbows. From there, I would like to see Ben be a bit more aggressive with shooting his hips back into that quarter squat position and getting some foot movement to help him get some speed under the bar, as well as landing in a more stable platform. So the question is, how do we fix this? So the first thing I did is get Ben to drop back to 80 kilos. He maxed out at 110. So I wanted to be heavy enough to still be able to him to have to concentrate and work hard to complete the lift, but not so heavy that he would get overly fatigued. So first up, I had him work from the high hang, and the reason being is because it's very unnatural to muscle the bar from that position. It's going to teach him to be more aggressive and more complete with hip extension, and it's also less likely that he's going to throw that bar away and forward from that restrictive start position. Once we started to see progress from the high hang, we then moved him back down to just above the knee. And what I prompted him to do here was to focus on getting back into the pockets and also once again thinking about complete hip extension followed by that high and outside position. Ben's got a tendency to do the reverse curl style clean, and if we think about those checkpoints along the way, we're much more likely to hit them and succeed in the overall lift. The next thing I had Ben do was work from the ground, but we put a pause in at the knee. And the reason behind this is that it helps him think about the mechanics from the ground to the knee. And then it also helps to reinforce that position at the knee, which is critical to success in the lift from there on. Finally, we moved back onto the full lift from the ground. So what we focused on here was a better setup, which you'll see right here in the frame. He was much more controlled off the ground, better mechanics off the ground, kept the bar in closer, just overall a much better lift. There's still a few things to fix up, but if you compare this lift at 80 kilos to the lift at the start at 80 kilos, dramatic improvement in what took probably 15 or 20 minutes total. Very good. As always, thanks for watching, and hopefully you got something out of today's video.